Now, less than a month after his inauguration as governor of Bayelsa State, Governor Diri got approval of a 2.9 billion naira bank loan now by the State House of Assembly. The loan is meant for the procurement of what they call operational vehicles for the governor, his deputy, and other top government officials in the state. The Assembly at its plenary now, presided over by Speaker Abraham Inogbere, unanimously approved the loan request with a repayment plan of 36 months. Now, Diri had just been sworn in February, actually sworn in February 14th, and it's so surprising that one of the first things he would consider obligatory is to do now is a loan request. One would have thought that the new governor would be looking for ways to resolve the issue of unpaid salaries in the state. I mean, that should be of primary concern to him and not this guy's. And it gets more absurd when you consider the fact that in February of 2017, the Assembly actually approved a loan request of 3 billion naira for the former governor of the state, Siriake Dixon, which was used for purchasing cars for Dixon himself and state legislators. Well, I actually won't be discussing this alone. I still have Libros Oshoma here, who's a lawyer, and Agba Jalingo with me as well. Gentlemen, let me start with you, Libros. I mean, you consider the way and manner the governor came into office. You would think one of the first things he would do is to draw the people close to himself, try to market himself, and let them know that, look, they lost nothing in not getting David Lyon as their governor. But then you get the State House of Assembly to approve loans that will be paid, a loan of this magnitude that will be paid in 36 months.
When I first saw this online, I tagged it as fake news because for me it was unbelievable that having, gotten to office in the manner you got into office, that, against the fact that, some people till date are still not happy that their vote, the Supreme Court didn't allow their vote to count. I had expected that the first thing to do now would not be, looking for ostentatious lifestyle, would be how to, like you have said, how to reconcile yourself with the people, how to reconcile the previous government with the people, and how to bring back hope to the people that, look, God didn't make this mistake, and that this was divine, and that truly you're going to breathe a divine hope, in the people. But if the first thing that the government is doing is to request for loan to buy cars. And
the former governor got a loan of 3 billion in 2017.
And you're buying cars. And then, don't forget the fact that we have closed land borders to grow our economy. And then we are taking loan. Some of these loans, this loan is to consume. And then we'll repay back this same loan for consumption.
In 36 months.
And none of the cars is made in Nigeria. So that means the money we find...
Even if the cars were made in Nigeria.
The money we find its way back outside, the states. And mind you, why people are crying and complaining about the fact that the Federal House of Rep is buying cars for almost 5 billion.
5 billion.
I had expected that being a senator coming from the Senate, you had heard the cry of the people. Now you are a chief executive, and that this would have been an opportunity to right the wrong. But starting on this note is a no-no for me. And I think the governor should immediately, even if he has gotten the loan, he should channel this loan, into useful and meaningful purpose.
Bayelsa State has a huge need for development. I mean, there's hunger in that land.
Yeah, exactly. Quickly, it is not that the former governor was not using cars. If the governor were still in office, he probably would still have been using those cars. So what is wrong with inheriting the cars? For the time being, you are the governor of that state for both the assets and the liabilities of the state. You cannot just inherit assets and the liabilities. You say, no, these ones are old cars. What happened to those old cars? That
They
were
probably,
bought.
they probably told the former governor
not
and the other political appointees to go with them.
3 billion naira worth of vehicles.
And I'm dead sure there's a likelihood that they've not finished repaying the loan.
And the worst part of it is that not that the money is available to procure these vehicles.
Not available.
You're going to take a loan to procure vehicle. You are taking a loan to consume in an oil-producing state. And the same state where people randomly at the pool rejected you because of the style and the ostentatious lifestyle of, the predecessor in office. One would have expected that they would learn from this. But it's unfortunate that our political office holders never learn. And I think because if I had the governor's number, I probably would have called him to advise him. But this is a bigger platform. If he's listening to my voice, this is not the right thing for him to be doing right now. What he should be doing right now, the state has backlogs of salaries that they have not paid. Even if it means taking a loan to pay them. Let them do that. Agba Jalingo talked about, a social investment scheme for the teeming population and the young people who also are taken into crime and criminality in the state. Find a way of creating a safety, financial safety net for them where they can access loan to start small business.
But obviously the governor is not thinking...
By so doing, you would have gradually, be winning yourself back into the mind of the people.
Jalingo, how would you describe this? You would expect that even the lawmakers themselves, who are supposed to be representatives of the people, should have called the governor to say, look, this is not a priority. You can't be borrowing 2.9 billion naira to buy cars.
Well, in mathematics, we say once it's above 5, we can approximate. That's 3 billion naira.
That's 3 billion.
So what it means is that within the past 3 years, Bayelsa State will be buying vehicles worth 6 billion naira.
Exactly. That's what it means.
For less than 20 members of the House of Assembly and a governor. And in the House of Reps, where there are 360 members.
25.
They are spending close to 5 billion naira. And the whole country is shouting that money is too much. For 360. Then you have Bayelsa with 8 local governments, less than 20 members in the House of Assembly, and the governor. They are spending more than half of what the House of Representatives want to spend on vehicles. Now, one of the things that the Bayelsa people are very adept in doing is telling us how Northerners are carrying their oil money and going to develop the North and leaving the place where the money is coming from. And impressively, Bayelsa State has the highest number of agitators. They even have the highest number of beneficiaries on the amnesty program. Because they know how to ask questions, they know how to resist. But why? I wonder why this resistance is always against so-called Hausa people or outsiders who come and take their money. That state has been so unfortunate that in 1999, they have had the misfortune of having some of the most rapacious and profligate governors that Nigeria has produced, beginning from Alamesia. But even while Alamesia was stealing their money, they called him their governor general. The next person comes, he was still a thief. They called him, they keep giving them titles. As they are stealing their money, they keep giving them titles. So I have this feeling that the people of Bayelsa are comfortable with thieves that are from their place. But as long as the thief is not an Ijo, because they are homogeneous. Apart from the small minority appear, almost everybody in the 8 local governments in Bayelsa is an Ijo person. So once it is one of them who does this, they are comfortable with it. Unless this thing is being done by somebody who is non-Ijo. That's the only time they have the capacity to complain. And it is very disappointing in one way. On the other end, the people get the kind of leaders they actually deserve. If not, I will expect that the people of Bayelsa will rise up and ask these lawmakers why they will resort to borrowing for recurrent expenditure like buying of vehicles. 3 billion, when 360 people are going to spend close to 5 billion. Then less than 20 lawmakers and 1 governor are going to spend 3 billion. It's the irony of our country. In the same nation where Southern Ijaw people are still complaining that they have not tarred the road from Yanagua to their place, they want to use 2.9 billion to buy new cars. And they have not told us what they are going to do with the old ones, the one that Sirake left behind. Whether they are going to share them for themselves, whether they are going to auction them.
Obviously, maybe they're left with them.
Okay. So the blame lies squarely on the people of Bayelsa State. If they really want development for that state, that small, tiny state, it ends more than 3-4 states in the remaining part of the southeastern part of the country. And now, every time you go to Bayelsa, I don't know whether they have dualized that road from Myanmar Junction to Yanagua. That place is still looking like a glorified local government headquarters. And then all you hear every now and then are lawmakers who are borrowing money for recurrent expenditure like buying of cars.
But you would also expect that the governor himself, would be sensitive, because he actually made that request to the House.
The governor is coming from a place where,
anyway,
from the Senate, where they spend our money lavishly without any care. Nobody asks them any question. That's the background the governor is coming with. And you expect that it is the people at home that will tell him that, no, Oga, we don't do this kind of thing back home. The money here is meant for development. Where you are coming from is our national cake. But the one that has returned home, let us use it for development. That's what I would have been expecting Bayelsa people to do. The last time when they were declared Leon governor, they were going to destroy everywhere and kill human beings. But now that they are hearing about that amount of money that is going to be spent on buying cars, nobody is talking. Possibly, I can bet you that even the contractor that will supply those vehicles is not from Bayelsa State. All that money will leave Yenagoa, leave Lagos, possibly go to Toyota in France or in Japan, and then create jobs for them, while the people of Bayelsa are busy fishing and doing bunkering and ending up in jails. But once that person is not a Bayelsa or an Ijaw person, then they pick up arms and they want to fight, they want to agitate, they want to break pipelines, they want to destroy the environment. But over this issue, they don't want to do anything. I have said that let us continue. We will continue talking, but let the people continue to swallow everything until the day they are ready to fight.
And Libros, look, if the governor is starting this way, they say money shows the day. So if the governor is starting this way, then one wonders what to expect going forward from here.
It's sad that, the first official public request that if government, or the governor is concerned about, it's his lifestyle, buying cars.
Obviously, that's it.
Buying
lifestyle.
cars in a state that earns, one of the highest in the country, but is the poorest.
And the state is in debt.
And yet,
because if the money of paying salaries,
if the money were available,
you
wouldn't be borrowing 3 billion to buy
for
cars.
recurrent expenditure.
And so, one would have expected that even the people, like Jalingo has said, that the people, would rise up to say, no, we didn't bargain for this. Yes, we rejected you at the pool, but providence and circumstance has, brought you, giving you the saddle. And please don't start this way. His advisors also. I expect that's the same rubber stamp assemblies that we have replicated, in every state of the federation. I had expected that at the debate on the floor of the House, that the House members would have been...
If there was a debate anyway.
That's what I'm saying, that the House member would have raised these issues, would have been very vociferous against this request. But obviously, definitely, some persons, would have been promised a slice of the cake. And so I had expected that they would be very, very vociferous against such a request, that no, we cannot. Even if the money is overflowing, it will rather, let's use it to beautify the state, that we'll be able to point to this state, or people will be able to point to the state as, one of the most developed states in the country. I saw photographs and videos of some women in Bayelsa, the kind of water they are still drinking, and the kind of menial jobs that are still engaging in a country, in a state that is, almost 60% riverine. Your problem will not now be how to buy cars that you cannot drive from Yenagoa to Abuja.
You can't.
Because,
you can't even drive in Bayelsa. Where will you drive to? You have to pass somewhere and to pick up a boat.
So you will need development. It was so bad that the former governor's residence in the same Bayelsa was attacked not too long ago. And
the former president.
The former president. And so we're not even talking about security now. The governor is not thinking of how do I engage the teeming youth. And the youth also are not thinking, like he has said, how do we ensure that our money remains with us and is used to develop this place? If it would have been laudable and fantastic if we heard that the governor is borrowing 100 million to open a car manufacturing plant. In Bayelsa.
Or to bring innocent to Yenagoa.
Or to bring innocent to Yenagoa. Or to bring a fish processing, the tuna processing, an industry to Yenagoa.
That creates opportunities for
by now, people would have been saying yes. Even though those that didn't vote for him would have been saying, oh, thank God that it had happened this way. But none of that. All we hear is that you want to borrow money to eat. Because if you call it recurrent, people would understand.
To spend.
You want to borrow money to spend. And at the end of the day, you still borrow to pay back.
You source from another place.
And this money goes to somebody else who will use it to create job for his people. And yet we think that there is hope for it. It's sad and very, very unfortunate. And our leaders should know that when they continue in this trajectory, when you continue like this, what you are gradually creating by buying these cars and spending this kind of money is that you are creating an army of unemployed people who someday they will have nowhere to go to but to turn against you. For the fact that they are not doing it now does not mean that they don't have the capacity to do it.
Please, they should exercise that capacity.
We have seen them
it now.
We have seen them exercise that capacity against outsiders.
They need to do it against
and
their
very
own lawmakers.
Soon, these lawmakers and the governors, maybe very soon, the state might not be conducive and comfortable for them. You know, even the former governor was attacked. His residence was attacked on the day the Supreme Court delivered that judgment.
The former president,
and so they should also know that bulletproof vehicles will not be strong enough to protect them when the uprising comes, which is why now is the time to engage these people.
All right. I was thinking, I also understand that this governor gets 100 million naira security vote. Why can't he remove 2.9 billion naira from his security vote?
To buy cars.
To buy the cars, rather than going to poke another hole on the treasury of Bayelsa. And these are questions they should be asking them. I saw him laughing hilariously at the South Governors meeting yesterday, even though my own Governor Ade was missing in action, obviously, as usual. He never goes for any important thing. If they were dancing Shokide, I'm sure he would have been at the forefront. Anyway, but he didn't go.
Anyway, well, if you ask me, what I would say is this. This clearly shows the governor doesn't know what the people want. And the governor basically was not prepared to be governor of that state. Because, I mean, you don't get into office. You don't get into office in the manner in which you got into office, and the first thing you do, your first policy is to ask the State Assembly to approve a loan of 2.9 billion naira for you to buy cars for yourself, your deputy, and some state officials. And these state officials, of course, would naturally have had cars. What about those who were in that same position before you came in? So it clearly shows that it's either the governor does not know what the people want, does not even know what he should do, or he's just been mischievous, so to speak. And it's a very bad one for the people of Bayelsa State. They say morning shows the day. Let's just hope. Let's hope. And we pray that morning shows the day does not apply in this case, and that the governor gets his bearing right. But I'm afraid, from the way he started, I do not think the Bayelsa people should expect anything wonderful from the government. And it's a shame that the lawmakers, who are supposed to be the representatives of the people, would sit down and unanimously approve that amount of money for the purchase of cars. And what do you expect anyway? They got a loan to get cars for themselves in 2017. And you can't rule out the possibility that they would also get settled in this one, because there must be something in for them. It's always the way, that's the way it is in Nigeria. That's the way things play out. It's a shame. We can only pray for the people of Bayelsa State, and we can only pray that things get better. Well, that's it on the program, but if you want to watch it again, it's very simple. Just go to our website, TV360Nigeria.com. You'll see this program and lots more there. You can also follow the conversation on our various social media handles. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.